utopia, take away the economy from those who rigged it. As I see it, class warfare, the only resort to right-wing doom. It's worth it. How to talk to your right-wing relatives, friends, and neighbors, and other books written by Egberto Willis. Welcome to Politics and Right. My name is Egberto Willis, your host. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning to the great state of Texas. Good morning to the entire United States of America. Good morning to the entire world receiving the signals from El Internet, that magical thing created by we the people, formerly known as the ARPANET. Thank you guys for being here. We're going to have a great program for you today. But before we get started, we have to go ahead and get to the geniuses in El Estudio, Senor Howard Reynolds and Jacques Van Beber. Good morning, my brothers. How are you guys doing?
Well, good morning, Egberto. It is Wednesday morning at the radio, the 7th of May, and I understand the tin cans and string came unglued yesterday. So I came in this morning and put some glue on the tin can on this side, and it looked like it worked.
Well, we appreciate that you kind of patched up the stuff with your super glue, known formerly as Howard Glue. Thank you so kindly.
Yep.
Dr. Franken Glue.
Yeah,
Oh, exactly right. I love that name.
I gave up on the great value tin cans and went for the Campbell soup cans, and ever since then the quality's been so much better. Anyway, rant today, possibly a rant. What in the hell is that president doing?
Oh, God.
Signing an executive order saying that news sources must reveal their sources. Yeah, okay. Do you not realize that the Supreme Court sometime back upheld the fact that they don't have to? Is he aware of that?
No,
Or does
he's
he
not.
care?
He doesn't care.
Well, he should be, because the Supreme Court had a case in front of them in the same problem of, the Justice Department, I believe, wanted them to reveal sources, and they said no. So they took it to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court backed it up. And fairly recent decision, I think, saying, no, they don't have to reveal their resources or their sources of information. No, that's private. And if you want a free press, you're going to have this. They don't like it, but President Trump says, well, I am the king here, so from my throne room, I shall make sure that I have an edict that makes them reveal their sources. No,
Yeah, right.
you can't. That is against the Constitution. That is against the Supreme Court rulings. No, you can't. So there's my rant today.
No.
Just no. Tell the big baby no. Jack, you got a whole half a page of wisdom there, so I think we should hear it.
Well, excuse me. Good morning, Egberto.
Good morning, Jack. How you doing?
Didn't quite get to finish this, but I'm going to run with it.
Run with it.
Hands off my Social Security. I'm a boomer, and I've paid into the Social Security Trust Fund for over 40 years. This is a contract the government made with the people, and our government must honor this agreement. We have a bunch of billionaire cabinet members who are doing the bidding of the corporate elites, and they don't want to pay their fair share to maintain Social Security. Our politicians are selling out the people. That's as far as I got.
Well, you know what? You're absolutely right. They're selling us out. And the big topic today is going to be that guy who got confirmed, Bisignano. And we're going to talk about that. So thank you for starting us off with that, Jack, because that's very, very important. To our folks on Substack, first of all, I am looking at Substacks in two different areas. I'm looking on the desktop screen that I simply logged into my system. I see the video just fine on the computer, on the desktop. For those of you who are listening and watching on the phone, I have a phone set up as well, and I'm seeing a black screen like I think Aaron Congress asked if anybody's seen a black screen. I am. So if you need to see video as well, folks, you can go to the desktop or you can go to YouTube or any one of those other places. Before we get started, I want to welcome aboard Joe Ann from Los Angeles, California, on the chat. I also want to welcome Paulette Williams, Cindy Adams, Sandra Reichert, Claudia Carroll, Rebecca Fires, George Forgione, Sil Rise, Marge Gay J. How you doing, Marge? Catherine Spencer Whitney Nance, Joe Legaki, Aaron Congress, Sharon Shifka, Linda, Deborah, Marge Gay, all of you guys. I can't get to all of it because it's a ton of you. George Forgiani says Massachusetts, join in. Thank you from Massachusetts as well. John A says there is no honor in Oval Orange Man office. They don't care about Social Security or the people of this country. And Noel Keith just joined as well. And we missed quite a few in the middle, but forgive us. Hey, here's the deal, guys. Before I get into the Social Security thing that our brother Jack Van Bever was talking about, I want to know if any of you saw the press conference or the pre-press conference, we should say, between Mark Carney, the new Prime Minister of Canada, and the President. What a difference in intellect. What a difference in seriousness. What a difference in maturity. Um, every single American should have been embarrassed by what we saw there. Every single American should feel embarrassed. We had a president banging his chest. We don't need anybody. They need us. You have a president, let's say that were true. Even if that were true, it is something you don't say to try to embarrass somebody or to try to belittle somebody. It is like what kids do when they're insecure and want to prove a point. That is what our president looked like yesterday. We had a president that looked into the Canada's eye and said, "We're defending you anyway. You buy all your military equipment from us anyway. We don't need your cars." Actually, one of the reasons Canada doesn't build a whole bunch of cars or anything under their own brand is deals between the United States and Canada. Yeah, we'll create an automotive industry in Canada so that we don't have, so that on this hemisphere, America on this hemisphere, we have great trade. A lot of what Canada has done, what Mexico has done, was really sort of, let's keep things easily going so we don't have destructive competition in this hemisphere, in the American hemisphere. And now Donald Trump, the uneducated, I mean, I don't normally speak like this, but it is so bad. The uneducated moron, as if any moron is educated, goes out and allows the world to see us being led by someone who speaks this way, someone who addresses another head of state this way. And the thing about it is, Prime Minister Mark Carney was very, very gracious, and with all the insults that Donald Trump was given, there are times you could see him being uncomfortable, but where he needed to defend Canada and say, nope, this will never happen in Canada, he did respectfully. A lot of folks will, well, what? He has to be respectful. This is the United States. I want to remind all of us, we are 4% of the world's population. There are another 96% of the world's population. And while we may control 20% of the commerce, 25, it is dwindling, and it's dwindling solidly. Likewise, we ought to remember that as the story of the turtle, the tortoise and the hare. While we are banging our chest and talking about how great we are, other countries are silently growing and improving themselves. Yes, a couple of days ago, some new data just came out about top universities, where people are going, etc. And the United States, while still on top in many areas, have shown a strong decline in areas that we were that we had that we were at the top of. This goes from universities, top universities. We have dropped by several percentage points, probably 20, 30%. China has more than double. China is right under us in preferred universities right now. China has taken over in engineers. China has taken over in patenting. China has taken over in a whole lot of places. And when it comes to having the hearts of people around the world, every time Donald Trump opens his mouth, it's about bombing something, it's about taking over control of something, it's about doing something nefarious around the world. What China does silently, and again, this isn't a pro China statement. This is a just how things are statement. China is all over the world building, building freeways, building colleges, building ports. Yeah, that's in their best interest, yes. Establishing relationships, not out there calling people they need us, not doing any of that. Who do you think is looking at the long term? And who do you think is on the decline? And who do you think have has the ability to stop this? You. It's going to be difficult, the recovery. And the reason it's going to be difficult is because the first time Donald Trump was elected, the rest of the world could say, well, everybody deserves a mulligan. Yeah, they made a mistake. But when the second time that he got elected, the way he got elected says more about us than it says about Donald Trump. So I think we all collectively need to look in the mirror, look at what we're doing to this bastion, this former bastion of excellence. I remember moving to the country. I remember when my grandfather living in New York. I think he got over here as a seaman or something like that. I don't exactly know how. But I remember the first time he came back to Panama, and we're talking about New York and the United States. Let me tell you how much America was revered. I picked up his shoes. Never forgot this. This is static in my mind. And I picked up his shoes and turned around the sole of his shoes, the scratchy sole of his shoes. And I said, imagine this shoes walked in New York, walked in the United States of America. That's the kind of reverence. In as much we weren't stupid, we knew all the things that America did. We knew about the genocide of the native. We knew about slavery, but we knew that it was a country atoning. We knew it was a country growing, and we knew it was a country doing good things, attempting to do good things around the world. We knew that. Foreigners know all these things. The lies that you hear about foreigners, where you hear that they say they hate us because of our freedom, no, it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with all that's done in the name of all of us that none of us know about. What's done in the name of all of us that none of us know about. And what you saw with Donald Trump on display, with his braggadocio, with its insulting, with his demeaning of a leader across the world and leaders across the world, as he says, you guys need us, and the tariffs are going to be whatever we say, but it's going to be all what we decide. That is how corporations around the world treat many of the countries around the world. And that then becomes a reflection of who we are. Understand what's going on and not believe in what our mainstream media is trying to infer from why things occur. And let's be honest. And once we're honest, we can go forward. Glenn Ryan says they hate us because of our bombs, and we all know about Gaza, Egberto. Glenn, it doesn't matter how many times that is said about Gaza, you're right. How many more times should I tell you you're right? But how many times must I tell you that there's so much more that we have to do? Lee the Bearcat from Austin, Texas is in the house, as well as Lee, as well as Catherine O'Hill from Canada. Catherine Hill, thank you for being here. Lisa Blair from Atlanta, thank you for being here. All right, let's get busy with some Social Security. We've exploded on Substack. I'll answer some of those on Substack after we get into the core of the program. All right. Yesterday, just before we left the program, we had, I don't remember the name of the person who said that I was lying about Social Security. I want to promise all of you that whatever I say on this program, I don't want you to take it at face value. I want you to double check the things that I say, check it out everywhere. Please do. And if for some reason you think I misrepresented something, I said something wrong, call me out. My goal here is not about me, it's not about any of us here. It's about having a platform where people get the unadulterated truth. He said I lied about Social Security. He's absolutely wrong. We understand and we see the tea leaves of what's occurring with Social Security. If you're a person approaching Social Security age, welcome aboard, Gayla Kunes from Georgia, from Evans, Georgia. If you are approaching Social Security age, you better listen, and we better not buy the Kool-Aid, and we better not just be taken in with the lies, because after you've accepted the lies by the administration, it's you who will have to live with all the issues that will occur. For those that are currently on Social Security, I think it will take a while before you're harmed, because there are several levels of protection that those currently receiving Social Security can sort of hope for, and that is that they don't kill cloture, which means 60 votes for any substantial changes to Social Security. And also, you're already in the computerized system. The only issue is if you're accidentally declared dead, trying to be able to get back not being dead. But that's for another day. Yesterday, something big happened. I thought I was going to turn on the traditional mainstream media and hear this news. And, unfortunately, I didn't. Marge K points out that, yes, there are a lot of good articles that can keep people abreast on Substack. She's absolutely right. All right. By confirming Bisignano, Senate GOP greenlights DOGE destruction of Social Security. It's the title of the article in Common Dreams. Defenders of Social Security Administration sounded the alarm on Tuesday after U.S. Senate Republicans banded together to confirm President Donald Trump's pick to lead the federal agency, former financial service executive Frank Bisignano. If you ever think that putting a Wall Street guy ahead of an agency that collects billions, hundreds of billions of dollars a year that they would like to play Monopoly with, that is the last person you want to be in charge of Social Security, because you've given a gambler, you've given the head of a casino the lead on Social Security. The new Social Security Administration Commissioner, confirmed with a 53-47 vote along party lines, has described himself as a DOGE person, referring to Trump's Department of Government Efficiency, which is led by billionaire Elon Musk. Elon Musk and Donald Trump, with the quiet help of Frank Bisignano, have spent the last few months taking a chainsaw to Social Security, said Nancy Altman, president of the advocacy group Social Security Works. The vote was an opportunity for the Senate to reject the decimation of Social Security and demand that Trump nominate a commissioner who will stop the bleeding. Instead, every Senate Republican just signed off on the DOGE destruction of Social Security. And Social Security Works put out the name on a meme of every single Republican who voted to put this guy in, who will, in fact, cripple Social Security. Bisignano is a Wall Street CEO with a long history of slashing the companies he runs to the bones, including massive layoffs. She noted he is also a liar. He claims he was not involved in all the chaotic and destructive changes at all at Social Security Administration, the hollowing out of the agency, the stealing of our most sensitive data, the harmful and poorly rolled out policy changes, their sudden reversals, and more, including the telephone problems, the closing of different local satellite areas. However, there are well over a dozen long-serving civil servants identified by a brave whistleblower who can validate that he is lying. Altman warned that with Bisignano's increased power as a confirmed commissioner, he will accelerate the destruction of our Social Security system. One ray of hope is that DOGE henchmen running Social Security have reversed course on some of the biggest cuts in the face of massive public outrage. They know how popular Social Security is with voters of all parties. So whether you're MAGA, whether you're a Republican, whether you're a Democrat, whether you're anarch, I don't care who you are. If you are older and are in Social Security, or if you are disabled and are in Social Security, if you are in, again, Social Security is not just for old folk. There are a lot of people, Social Security is just that. Social Security, folks. Social Security. Now, together we can save Social Security from Trump, Musk, and Bisignano, she added. It's going to take millions of people in the street raising our voices together, saying, hands off our Social Security. American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, President Lee Saunders similarly said, the Senate just escalated threats to Social Security by confirming a billionaire CEO who has spent his career catering to Wall Street. As I've mentioned in several things that I've written, please remember, Wall Street is no better than a casino. I know a lot of people are invested in that casino. I understand. But anytime you have a system where the president can say, make a statement, and trillions of dollars disappear, I want you guys to use your critical thinking here. Wall Street, the bastion of American capitalism. If a statement can be made by a president, if a statement can be made by a senator that causes that all the values of these assets to fall by large percentages, with nothing else changing in the world, no change in transportation, no change in no hurricanes, no pandemic. If just hot air out of one's mouth can destroy wealth that way, it tells you your system is flawed. And I would like any stockbroker, any financial analyst, anyone that is listening to me right now that is upset that I have said something like that, to please give me a call. Let's talk about it. But for the average American citizen who has a 401k, who saw their 401k melt right as they were retiring because of a statement by a moron, what does that tell you about the underlying economic system that allowed that to happen? Please, come on, give me a call. Give me a call. All right, I'm coming close to the end of what I want to say about what's his name, Bisignano. Mr. Bisignano's testimony before the Senate, along with his long career in finance and tech sectors, provides no reassurance that he understands, let alone prioritizes the needs of older and disabled Americans, said Fiesta. We remain alarmed by the risk that he will support privatization schemes or replace essential SSA workers with AI systems, which could undermine the quality that accessible of services. Newly elected Democratic Chairman Martins also blasted the Senate GOP for confirming a Wall Street stooge and self proclaimed DOGE person who wants to help Donald Trump and his shadow president elect or gut the program. All right, that's enough of that. But I want to point out something. The private sector could never possibly be more efficient than the government in running Social Security. That is a mathematical fact. Any private entity running Social Security requires that the people who are in that private entity get a profit and the shareholders of that private entity get a valuation, get a dividend on said money. It's impossible, mathematically impossible, for the private sector to be more efficient at running this. It's very important that we say that. Miss T. Marie 83 is from Western North Carolina, deep red Trumper area. It's depressing, so thankful for this channel and common sense political coverage. Thank you so kindly for those kudos, Miss T. Marie 83. We also have Catherine Hill, who says, actually in Connecticut, but have lived in Canada and both in England and born in England, currently on Social Security. And we are here to make sure that people do or encourage people to do the right thing. Miss Tina Marie and Miss Catherine Hill. Francisco Hernandez says good morning to everybody. And Alisarin Dreams from Summerwood, welcome to Politics Done Right this morning as well. We have on the phone. Let's go to Lester. Come on in, Lester.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning,
I'm
my
all
brother.
right.
Talk to
I
me.
know you are. I'm all right. So I'm not gonna ask you for the 55th time how you doing.
Yes,
Hey,
sir.
look at man. First of all, I like you, man. You're a good brother, man. I really respect you, and I would never disrespect you, man. But you remind me of my parents. My parents, they go to church every Sunday, but man, all they do is just sit around the house all day, look at the news, doom and gloom, all day long, doom and gloom. And it's like they never have nothing positive to say about nothing. And that reminds me of you, respectfully, man. I mean, is it any good thing going on that this president done? Okay, Alberto, gas prices went up. They go back down. You don't hear nobody talking about egg prices no more because they done got down. Toilet tissue went up. Then it went down. Food prices go up and down, man. I'm 64 years old, man, and I just was forced to retire. But I went through the process of getting my Social Security started, man. I'm not worried. I'm not concerned because I know eventually things are going to work out. So my question to you, man, why is it always doom and gloom when it comes down to Donald Trump? Do you ever pray for the man? I'm listening.
Okay, let me respond to you, and thank you for those comments, my dear brother Lester. Let me tell you why it's doom and gloom. It's doom and gloom. Look, I am a radio host, media host actually, because we're on every platform. People listen to this program to be informed, and when there's good news to inform folks about good news, I promise I will, and I absolutely will. You ask, is there anything good that comes out of Donald Trump? I can tell you that there's one good thing I remember, but it was something that later was causal of what he did, and that was speeding up the release of a vaccine back in his first term. But is there anything good that has occurred thereafter? No. Now, let me just say, you said I reminded you of your parents who go to church every Sunday and listens to the news and complain. And I actually take umbrage with that, and I actually, accept that. Now, here's the thing, Lester. The one that seemed to have the most faith right now is you. Because what you've just said, my brothers, you've said you have faith that things will turn around. Well, why I suggest that you also listen to what I say critically and ask the question from somebody who wasn't born here, somebody who revered this country, somebody who gave the story about what we all thought and what this country was, and understand that there's somebody that is slowly destroying it, and one who can see that not because of hope, sir, not because that I hope things are going to be all right. The things that I'm talking about, Lester, is not for Egberto, it's not for Jack Van Bever, it's not for Howard Reynolds, it's for everybody. And I'm concerned about your Social Security as well. And while you hope that praying for Donald Trump will make things right, my brother, I can't do that. It would be irresponsible of me to see all the things that are occurring, to watch Project 2025 being executed in action and watching said destruction and understanding said destruction. If I if I don't come out and speak about it, there I spoke about Bisignano today. It wasn't major news yesterday, which it should have been major news yesterday on the mainstream media. But even the mainstream media is scared to say certain things as it is right now. So, Lester, thank you very much for calling. I respect you, I respect your opinion. I completely disagree that I should stop the doom and gloom where that is all emanating from the commander in chief, which is in fact doom and gloom for most. And by the time many become aware of it, it would be too late. It's my duty to do what I
Egberto,
am doing. Go ahead.
Egberto, the
Yeah.
last thing I want to leave you with, brother, is this. Donald Trump, not my biggest concern. You know who my biggest concern is? And I don't care if they get mad at me or not. My biggest fear is Pookie and Ray Ray, who gonna jack me for my tennis shoes. That's my biggest concern. Thank you, brother. Thank
Oh,
you.
wait, no, don't leave. I need that requires an important answer because that is a magic of the GOP and the right wing. You are concerned about who's going to jack you up, right? That's what you said. Did I understand that right? Meaning rob you, take something, steal you, harm you, correct? Is that what oh, you're gone. Well, let me tell you something about Ray Ray and whoever it is that's going to jack you up. Statistically speaking, and again, this is where we have to do critical thinking and where facts are important. Statistically speaking, what Trump is going to do to you is much more likely than what whomever you call Ray Ray is going to do to you. And that's a statement of mathematical fact. All right, let's go to Luis. Luis, line number 3.
How's it going?
I'm doing fine. Talk to me, my brother.
I got some information for Lester because he'll listen. Donald Trump, I can think of 47 people that are, now happier because of Donald Trump, and those are the hostages that he was released. I could think of, 320 million people that should be thankful, but because of shows like yours, they're not thankful, is that the border is closed. It's closed. I mean, there may be, 10 or 20 people, maybe 100 people coming across, but there's not tens of thousands of people coming across.
Oh, is there any more? I'm waiting for some more.
There's plenty more, but, your show.
Well, I mean, if there are plenty, you should be able to come up with a couple more. If there are plenty more, sir, brother, if there are plenty more, you should be able to come up with 5 more. Give me 5 more.
Okay, sure. Donald Trump earned $4 in the year 2017 to whatever the next 2021. You sure about that?
I didn't hear what you just said. No, what I didn't hear what you just said.
say are not fact. What Lewis just said there is a lie. That's what you usually go down, and you usually cut me off before I get that far too.
No, no, go ahead.
So
I'm not cutting you off. I want you to say you've
all is a
said two
lie.
things that you claim are good things. I'm going to dispel that in a minute, but I want to see if there's any more that you think.
There you are. I knew you do this. Go ahead. I'm not even going to talk right now because I want to hear you say that all of those things are lies because that's what you do. Even
Okay,
though
no.
you
Well. Let's explain. Let's explain. The people that were released by Donald Trump, the negotiations were on with the Biden administration long ago, and many other people. So that is not deserving of Donald Trump. When you talk about the border being closed, if you take a look at number one, how many people were deported by President Obama, it's orders of magnitude greater than Donald Trump. Likewise, if you take a look at how many people Biden deported as well, larger than Donald Trump. And if you look at the amount of people that were coming in at the end of Biden's administration, it was less people than when Donald Trump left the last administration. And all of that, those are mathematical facts. Now, when it comes to thinking that closing the border makes some sort of a great sense and great heroes, again, critical thinking would ask you, why are these people coming over here? It's because of many of the policies that America implemented over there. So again, we need critical thinking and not just braggadocio, etc. Given that you're unable to mention anything else that Donald Trump has done, I'll move on to Patrick. But thank you, Luis, for calling as
great
usual. But
victory.
you are absolutely wrong, my dear brother. Let's go to
Of
Patrick.
course, of course.
Hey, good morning. I'm going to ask you how you're doing because Lester didn't.
I'm doing fine. Talk to me, Patrick.
Glad to hear it. If I understand my reading, for each individual that is retired and getting Social Security, there can be up to $5,000 lapse that they will not get refunded on. So for my
Yes.
parents, $10,000 that they'll have to come up with, or their kids will have to come up with. So I don't see a bright side there at all, and that is coming. Everybody's expecting it. Next, there are studies on prayer, and those studies are not positive at all. It seems that people that pray don't, at least when they're sick, don't try as hard to get well. They're relying on faith. So to pray for Donald might just make things worse. And then you also pray and hope for things that you don't have agency in. I live in a democracy, one that's failing, but I have agency in it. And so instead of praying, I'm going to go out and do something about it.
That last statement that you made, Patrick, is what we are all about. And thank you for saying that. You love this country so much. You have agency in this country, and you will allow nobody, no man, no woman, to destroy what this country says that it's all about. Thank you for that. I think that's so darn important.
Well, I see that in you, and I see that in everything that you do, and I appreciate it. And I'll leave it at that.
Thank you,
For
my
the
brother.
day.
You have a wonderful rest of your day. And folks on Substack, great commentary. People are seeing your commentary on Substack. I hope Substack we get a chance to eventually copy all the info that you guys put there and the statements that you make there. Thank you, guys. Keep posting in Substack as well, and keep posting elsewhere that we have. All right, let's go to Augie. Come on in, my brother Augie.
Well, if I was going to talk about Trump, a convicted felon, a draft dodger, and he wants to save money, but he wants to throw this birthday party for himself, millions of dollars, and have our military be involved. That's pretty hypocritical. And Lester, when he was talking about his parents watching TV, doom and gloom, my parents watch the news, but there's also a segment where it's good news. In fact, I think it's CBS at the end. That's now we got some good story at the end, good news. But people seem to ignore the good news and focus on the bad news, like Lester. And but my parents, when I grew up and got out, just said they didn't say vote for this party or that party. They said make sure you know who and what you're voting for.
Exactly.
And that's what I try to do. And Jack said something about the politicians selling us out. Well, he forgot to mention the Supreme Court judges and the other judges too that sold us out. They got bought and sold, and And like Lester, the only thing he's got to offer is prayer. Well, if you read the Bible, in the New Testament, they don't care about your words, and prayer should be done in private, not in public. What they're looking for is action. I don't see any action out of Lester except his complaints and say he's got prayers for us. And I think he's the one that complained about Obama one time and about Charlotte Jackson Lee because didn't do anything for him. Well, when they do stuff for the country, like Obama does, they're doing something for him. When Sheila Jackson Lee does something for the Third Ward, they're doing something for him. And Sheila Jackson Lee kept getting elected because she was all over the Third Ward asking business owners what they needed. And she was promoting stuff and getting stuff done for the Third Ward. When she's getting stuff done for the Third Ward, she was getting stuff done for Lester.
It's interesting. I've interviewed Sheila, the Honorable Sheila Jackson Lee, a few times, and I remember always. At first, I didn't particularly care for her because I thought she was always camera hungry. Then I realized, well, the way that she executed, she just about had to be, especially being a woman, how difficult it is. And then I went to the convention in 2012 I think it was Charlotte, North Carolina, and all of our delegation stayed at this hotel. And I watched her. I sat down in a corner of this ballroom and watched her interaction with the people in her community. And I was a convert right there. I watched her. I'm Latino, we believe in the hugging and all that good stuff. But I watched her hugging and loving on her constituents. I watched them coming up and telling her, "Hey, this isn't working in the community. Why isn't something done about that?" And I see her call her staff and say, "Take this message from him and figure that out." She was tough on her staff. I watched that. my I was completely changed because she didn't see me watching. I was just watching her interaction with the constituents out there. And it was something I would want to see out of every politician. That's why she got elected every year. The one thing that I would complain about is not priming her community enough, not just to vote for her, but to vote in every single election. But she was a great woman, great woman. All right, anything
Yeah.
else? Augie, I'm running out of time.
Yeah, and when she was running against Whitmire, she had one great thing that Whitmire didn't have. She said she knew every department head in the federal government. She had their phone numbers, and
Hmm.
if she needed anything, if she was elected mayor, she knew who to call for us to get federal help.
Exactly.
Whitmire,
Does well. He's right now selling his soul, and there's going to be something done about that. But thank you very much, brother Augie. I need to jump and go to Johnny. Johnny, come on in, my brother.
I absolutely loved listening to Patrick and Augie setting Mr. Lesterine straight. Mr. Lesterine, I would advise you, I would remind you of your catechism. Remember what they told you in religious classes, if you took classes, if you were a public school student. God helps those who help themselves. So, you can be passive all you want and blame that passivity and try to, what's that called when Republicans transfer onto others what they are guilty of? What's that called again?
It's called projection. Projection.
That's right. That's right. You could be a bell and hell on Alberto all you want, but I know the game you're playing. You're a one-trick pony, buddy, and I don't believe you are a legitimate caller. I think you call to KPFT you have an agenda for the right wing. Now, maybe you're doing it as a volunteer. Maybe you're being paid to do it. Because the Republicans are good at recruiting volunteers to act out in public. That's where I think you're coming from. And I don't appreciate your slights that you do on people like Jack Van Dever, okay? If that's the way he interacts with Roberto, that's his style. And I don't appreciate your anti-Christianness. So you need to examine the log jammed in your eye instead of examining the speck in other people's eye. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, brother Johnny. And I want to call out Angelo on Substack, who says the Alcatraz is BS. It was just about flooding the zone. I want to call you out, brother Angelo, as a genius. That's exactly what Alcatraz was all about: to flood the zone, to get people talking about something else. And we have something about New York City having to register again. I think it was Who said that? I wanted to call that out. Anytime something comes out about voting, I want to make sure it's pointed out. But let's go to Donald. Come on in, Donald.
Hey, good morning, Alberto. It's a hee-haw, gloom, despair, and agony on me. But what I'm asking
Yes.
is, why is somebody trying to steal a $15 pair of shoes? You had a teaching moment at that point. Them shoes
Uh,
only cost $15. How they coming out so high end on this side? That is the question, and that's
all
all I
right.
got.
No, no, Donald, I'm not going to let you off like that because you're my favorite MAGA. You better explain where I should have said a little bit more. Go for it. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Okay, those shoes only cost $15. We import them, and by the time they get to the people, they're $150, $250, sometimes $1,000 for a pair of shoes. Who's making your mind think that you need that pair of shoes because that person wore them, because they're special? Just a pair of shoes is for walking. And when you walk a mile in another man's shoes, you can see the path and the turmoil that he had laid. And that's it.
Thank you, brother. I wanted you to expand. Take your brother, Donald. Let's go to brother Bruce. Come on in, Bruce.
Good morning, Alberto. Good morning.
Good morning, my brother. Talk to me.
I'm going to do this real quick because of time. I want to equate something. I'm a bookworm. I read Penn Jillette, the magician's, one of his books. Well, I read all of his books, but in one of his books, he's an avowed atheist. And he said he doesn't get upset. He actually feels good when Christians try to convert him because, after all, if you knew somebody was going to spend eternity burning in hell, you have a moral obligation to try to care for your brother. So he says that means they care for me. Anyway, so when a highly educated activist, as yourself, and there's others out there, sees problems, they have a moral obligation to use that intellect to try to address them. So that's why you talk about what's going on with the government and what's going on with Donald Trump. So that's an answer for Lester. I'm done. I had more, but we're short on time. I saw the actual studies they did with heart patients about to go major procedures where whole congregations prayed for them and other ones didn't, and they had to stop it because they were having a higher death rate against the ones being told they're being prayed for. And they realized it was anxiety. They're like, why are all these people praying for me? It must be worse than I thought. And they had a higher death rate. They stopped the study, the double-blind study, right in the middle of the study. Anyhow, I'm done.
Thank you for that, Bruce. I didn't know about that study until you and Patrick. Amazing. I tell you what, I want to tell the folks on Substack, thank you for all those messages. Uju M, if you are still on, give us a call. You always have something enlightening to tell. And you know what we were missing today? No women voices. I know women are, because of our patriarchal society, in the mornings, they're the ones most occupied with doing other things, but no women voices. I'm hurt about that. By the way, I haven't heard from Betty in a while. Betty, I hope you're okay. Let's go to Brian.
Yeah, I haven't been listening very much. Has Johnny got me a nickname yet?
I don't think I don't think so, but Johnny, brother Brian wants his nickname. So work on it, Johnny. Thank you. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, thanks. First off, Biden was also a draft dodger.
Okay.
So, yeah, he called in like he had asthma, but yet he was a lifeguard, and he also played on the football.
Okay, I don't have information on that, but it's something that is worth looking up. Although I don't know what the matter with that, but yeah, look it up. Go ahead, continue, brother.
Yeah. Everybody always constantly says Trump did this, and Trump was responsible for the hydroxychloroquine death, but it turned out that woman poisoned her husband with hydroxychloroquine. But yet people still repeat this lie. Repeat the lie enough, and it becomes the truth.
Actually, that is what we really think about what Trump does, right? You keep repeating a lie, like tariffs are paid for by China, and people start to believe it. And when there are tests that were done out there in the field, what happened is a lot of people actually believe that they're not the ones that are going to pay the tariff. China is. Well, guess what? They're noticing now. They're realizing the truth. Continue, brother.
As far as Sheila Jackson Lee, Name one council that she was on the head of. None. Name me one project that she did here in Houston. Can you name it? What road got widened under her
Yeah, quite a bit,
responsibility?
but I don't have the. The truth is, honestly, I can't
You can
name
name
you
one.
one. No, no, no. What I'm saying, brother, is this. You caught me off guard, so I can't. Right? I can't think of one right now, but I do know that she has done a lot for the community, and it has been enumerated before. I just don't have it available to tell you right now.
Yeah. Guess what my district is? Third Ward
What? Okay.
district.
Okay.
Yeah, her district.
Okay.
All right. She was reelected and reelected and reelected for one reason only.
Why?
She's a black woman.
Okay,
She's
good.
a black woman.
I'm going to let that go because I'm sure that not Al Green, but Gene Green will tell you that people of color don't vote based on color. They vote based on who they believe are going to do things for them. That is unlike a large percentage of the white vote. And that is something that we have to overcome. One of the reasons Kamala Harris lost wasn't because people wanted Trump, was because they didn't want a black woman. So let me just tell you, my brother, again, we have to overcome our racial divide. But right now in America, people of color will vote will eat in the aggregate vote their interests in the aggregate. White people in the aggregate, I'm not talking about our great white brothers and sisters. I'm talking about those who will continue to vote against their own interests because of their personal prejudices. And I must go to Uju at this point. Brian, you're a daily caller and I appreciate your call. Thank you, brother. Let's go to Uju.
Obama.
Uju, thank you, Uju. How are you doing, my sister?
Hi, I'm here. My Substack is acting out, so I have no idea. But I listen to you on YouTube. Yeah, I'm gonna represent all the women out there. I'll do my very best. Okay. I was just listening to the other caller, and I knew he was gonna say it's because she's black. I really want people to just get to it. Like stop. Life is too short. Let's just get to it. A European, it was like a European writer recently said that the minute America realizes that the minute America gets over its racial social construct, Americans, the vast majority of Americans are going to realize that it was always a class warfare.
Amen.
It always has been. If you really think about it, race is a social construct that was started by the haves when they realized there were a lot more have-nots than they were, and they needed to give people an opportunity, the ability to feel more superior to other people. It's the reason why I believe MLK was assassinated. It's the reason why a lot of civil rights leaders or just people who were onto something as far as making sure that poor white people realize at the end of the day, your bank account still says $5, just like my bank account says. Mm-hmm. And we're the same. I'm black in quotation and you're white. So it doesn't really matter if I'm black or white. You're still starving. You're really still starving. You're trying to feed your kids. You're trying to do the best that you can. So anyway, So we literally as Americans have to understand we are Americans. And until we realize that our bank accounts have pretty much, for the most part, not $1 billion or $1 million, we're going to continue to have the same circular discussion over and over again. And one last thing, as far as flooding the zone, I was just telling my husband last night, we also have to be very, very intentional about understanding in a given day, they're going to throw 11 trash at you. One of those items that they throw at you is what you should pay attention to, okay? In addition to that, the other 15 items that they're not throwing at you is what you should also be paying attention to. So Jon Stewart did this funny thing on Daily Show where he had a chart. They're going to throw a lot at you, okay? And it's going to be so hard to not, react to it. Alcatraz, and I literally said, oh, maybe he was streaming Alcatraz, and he confirmed it. It's silly. But
Thank
don't
you.
get distracted. Don't get distracted. That's what I'm saying. Everybody have a great day.
Thank you. That's why I wanted to hear from you. Thank you so kindly with your words, Uju. All right, I'm going to have to limit everybody to 30 seconds because we're out of time. Josie, 30 seconds. It starts now.
Good morning. All I want to say is I agree. Our 401s are like the casino. They always have been. They don't help us in any way. I'm of retirement age, and I'm not able to retire. I'm very worried about Social Security. All my siblings and I are baby boomers. I listen to your program because I know I'm going to get some good information, and then I follow up. I don't think of your program as it's going to give me good or bad news. It's going to give me some substance so that I can move forward and see what's going on for myself and make those, do that critical thinking for myself. So thank you for the program and to all the people that call in.
Thank you, Josie. Love you, girl. Let's go to Glenn. 30 seconds. It starts now.
Hey, Egberto. Good morning. Just one quick thing for our friend Brian. His new name is Lion Brian. That's all I got to say. Have a great day.
Thank you so kindly, Glenn. Have a wonderful day. Derek, 30 seconds starts now.
Hey, good morning. Quickly, I just want to say what Donald Trump can do to me is stop speaking stupid words to the American people, because he constantly keeps talking about money. You're going to be so rich. That is the language of a pimp. You got 300 million people in America, and they're not the men and women of the night. Stop talking stupid to us. Thanks, bro.
Thank you so kindly, Derek. Okay, let's throw it to the studio. Come on in, studio.
Oh, I'm sitting here laughing. Donald Trump, please stop talking stupid to us. The thing is he doesn't know any other way to talk is the problem. And the guy is just not there. And his dementia is really starting to show. Jack, what you got, man?
Nothing. I got nothing.
Oh, Jack says he got nothing. Take it home, Egberto.
I am so scared that Jack's got nothing. Oh my God. No, actually, we know Jack has a hell of a lot. Anyway, folks, look, thank you for the call. I love you all. Left, right, I don't care who you are. We are in this boat together. Listen to what Uju just said. Anyway, folks, the rest of the show at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. You can write me directly at kpft@politicsdoneright.com. kpft@politicsdoneright.com. Love you all. My name is Egberto Willis. This is Politics Done Right, and you guys know how I end this baby. I am what?